Okay, for this next part of the video, I want to think about organizations and what it is that we want organizations to do and how we're going to approach this in the future. The purpose of an organization is to amass a large amount of resources dedicated toward a single task. If you want to build something that takes a lot of resources and a lot of staff, you're going to need to collect them somehow, and in order to manage them, you're going to have somebody in control, somebody who will tell different people to do different things. Otherwise, it won't be organized. In the future, it's not going to work in the same way. And the question is, well, then how is it going to work? How are we going to manage a large project? Well, let's take a large project, for example. Let's say building an apartment building. Right now, the way it works is an organization contracts to build an apartment building. But what does that mean, really? Well, what it means typically is that a person who is in charge of that organization, the president or the CEO, makes an agreement. I'm going to build an apartment building, and maybe they'll contract with loaner or lenders, maybe they'll contract with potential buyers, whatever. They in some way engage to build an apartment building. Well, this is made possible because we create entities which take the role of persons, and which are corporations which represent a collection of persons. So this entity, this corporate person, is what engages in the contract to build an apartment building. Now, we needed to do this in the past because there really was no other way to organize people. The only way to get people to work together was to have something like a hierarchical management structure. And there's a wide variety of reasons why that was the case. Everything from the education level of the workers to the communications capacities in the organization to the simple fact that unless people were told what to do, they wouldn't know what to do. That doesn't need to be the case today. Now let's take our same apartment building, and instead of a company agreeing to build an apartment building, a person agrees to build an apartment building. Well, we've just pointed out a person by him or herself cannot agree to build an apartment building. Well, that's quite true. But if you have a person who is well connected with a network, this person understands that by working with the network, they can cause to have built this apartment building. And so what happens is this person, on making the agreement to build an apartment building, then turns around and contracts subcontractors to do different parts of the job, and these subcontractors contract subcontractors, and so on until all of the tasks are accomplished. The idea here is that instead of one person being in charge and managing everyone else, rather each person in this organizational structure exists as an autonomous agent. The organization comes into existence solely for the purpose of building this building, and once the building is built, the organization dissolves. The network remains because these people are all connected to each other. But the next time an apartment building is to be built, somebody else might do the original contracting, different people might do different tasks. The organization will be built up from scratch again. The idea here is that the collection of people working to build an apartment building work as a network of roughly equal people. Each has a say in the completion of the task. Each completion of a task is the subject of a negotiation, of a contract of some sort. And what makes that possible is, first of all, the capacity, the education, the ability of the individuals to enter into these sorts of agreements and to complete such tasks, and also our understanding, our ability to communicate and know things about each other, so that when I'm contracting, I can know that so-and-so is reliable, that so-and-so will do the job, that so-and-so is a qualified worker. All of these things that we would typically expect the management of a company to do ahead of time, we can do on the fly because of improved information technology. Now we return with this picture back to our 4 major criteria for networks. Openness. As you can see, this sort of network forms and reforms different clusters, different groups of people to do different tasks. There's no sense of somebody being in, no sense of somebody being out. It's not a closed, fixed boundary that defines membership in this network. It's very open, it's very fluid. Diversity. We can see here that we're going to bring in a large number of people doing different things with different skills and different abilities. Indeed, this will be necessary in order to construct a building. If everybody believed the same thing and everybody had the same skills and the same approach and the same resource set, then we wouldn't have the wide range of skills that we need to build a building. Autonomy. Each person manages him or herself. Each person is responsible only for fulfilling the contracts that he or she has made with other people. And then finally, connectedness or interactiveness. The building that results is not the result solely of the will of one person being imposed on the large number of people, but rather it is the result of the way this large number of people have connected together and worked together to create the building. So that is another way of looking at how the network approach changes our organization.